Hey man, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. In this video, we are going to look at the best credit cards for groceries, rewards on groceries. Now, I am going to do this as a ranking, a little top 10, because rankings are fun, but really these top 10 could be sort of in any order depending on what your needs are, how many credit cards you like to carry, how much you spend on groceries, if you're willing to pay an annual fee, where you shop for groceries. So all sorts of other things to consider for you personally, but we're gonna do this little ranking and you can decide what the order is that makes sense for you based on all of those factors. All right, we're gonna do this as a countdown because countdowns are also fun. Number 10, the Amazon Visa, or if you're a paid Amazon Prime member, the Amazon Prime Visa. If you are a Prime customer, you're gonna get 5% in rewards on your Whole Foods purchases or Amazon Fresh, or of course, if you buy groceries from Amazon.com straight away, you would get your 5% on any of those. If you are not a Prime customer, you would get 3% on any of those purchases. Now, obviously, that's somewhat limiting. Maybe you don't go to Whole Foods, or you don't use Amazon Fresh, or want to buy your groceries from Amazon, which is why it's on this end of the countdown. But overall, a pretty decent card, especially if you are a regular Amazon shopper. You also have a bonus that you can get here as a new card holder, which, as I make this video, if you are a Prime member, is $100. If you're not a Prime member, honestly, I'm not sure what it is. Number 9 is the American Express Gold, and there's a lot going on here beyond just grocery rewards, so you kind of have to justify this card overall. It's got a $325 annual fee. In terms of rewards, you are going to get 4 membership rewards points per dollar on your U.S. supermarket purchases on up to $25,000 per year. In those purchases, you're going to get 4 points per dollar on restaurant purchases worldwide and up to $50,000 per year, 3x on flights that you book either direct with the airlines or through Amex Travel, 2x on prepaid hotels through Amex Travel, 1 point everywhere else. You're going to have a nice big bonus potentially as a new card holder if you can meet the spend requirement. And then you're going to have a lot of other potential credits that are also going to potentially justify that $325 annual fee. So you're going to have things like the yearly up to $120 Uber and Uber Eats credit, which is chopped up so that it's written up to $10 per month credit. And then all these other credits are going to kind of work in that same way. You've got a $100 Resi credit that is chopped up into $50 at the beginning of the year, $50 in the second half of the year when you dine at restaurants with the card that are part of the Resi booking platform. And then you've got an up to $84 per year Dunkin' credit. You've got another $120 or up to $120 dining credit that has sort of a limited number of places you can use it, although Grubhub is probably the most commonly used place when we look at that particular credit. So a lot of credits here, good grocery rewards, but you've really got to kind of justify the card to yourself overall in order to look at this one and say, yeah, I want that. Number 8 is the Target Circle card, what used to be known as the Target Red card. This one's a pretty simple description, gives you a 5% discount on all of your Target purchases. And if you do most or all of your grocery shopping at Target, obviously you're going to want to have it, or you're going to be paying 5% more than everybody else. You'll have a nominal bonus on this card usually when you sign up for it, but really you're getting it so you can get that 5% discount going forward. Number 7 is the Kroger Rewards MasterCard, which is a little more convoluted than it needs to be. It is a no annual fee card that you should look at if you shop at Kroger or a Kroger-owned supermarket chain like King Soopers, Fred Meyer, and there's a bunch of others as well. So you're going to get 5% back in rewards when you use this card through the Kroger Pay app at checkout, and that is going to be on up to $3,000 of purchases per year. After that, even if you use Kroger Pay, it would fall to 2%. Now, when you hit that $3,000, if I understand this correctly, and I think I do, you could then switch over to a different mobile wallet like Apple Pay or one of the other pays that are out there and use the card through that, and then you would get 5% when you use one of the other mobile wallets on up to your first $3,000 of purchases, and that would fall to 1%. So, as far as I can tell, you get 5% really on your first $6,000 of purchases per year if you switch from Kroger Pay over to another mobile wallet, which is why it's so convoluted. And then, if you actually shop in the Kroger stores and just use the card straight out, you're going to get 2% back. So obviously less than if you use one of those mobile wallets or payment services. So you kind of have to be somebody that's already comfortable with this, or you can get comfortable with it to make this card feel good to you, and then you're going to get 1% back every everywhere else. As far as I can tell, this card doesn't have a bonus for new card holders. Number 6 is the US Bank Shoppers Cash Rewards card. Another card that is a little complicated but could be very rewarding for you. No annual fee first year, but after the first year there is a $95 annual fee per year that is going to kick in. The rewards you get here, you're going to get 6% back from 2 retailers that you choose from a list that US Bank provides. And Walmart is one of those companies that you can get the 6% back from. So if you do your grocery shopping at Walmart, this is a card that you should seriously consider, especially since the Walmart credit card, as I make this video at least, has been discontinued. And so this is a very good way for you to get a nice reward at Walmart if that's where you do your shopping. So anyway, you get 6% back at 2 retailers. So you could choose Walmart, but there's also Target, Home Depot, and a bunch of others. So say Walmart is your one, you could choose anybody else from that list where you also want to get 6%. Now you get that 6% on up to $1,500 of purchases at those 2 retailers combined per calendar quarter. Now you also get 3% back in one other shopping category, which could be wholesale clubs, which could be Costco, if that is a place that you do your shopping, or there's also gas or electric vehicles you could choose to get 3% at, or bills and utilities you could choose to get 3% at. And then you get 1.5% back on all of your other purchases with this card. So even though the $95 annual fee does kick in after the first year, if you do a good amount of shopping with this card, it potentially could be worth it. And you do have a new card holder bonus that you can potentially earn as. So overall, a pretty interesting card. Number 5 is the Capital One Saver One card, which is a little bit of a Swiss Army knife type of card in the fact that you get enhanced rewards in a number of different categories. So if you don't want to hold too many credit cards, it's definitely one to look at. No annual fee, you're getting 3% cash back on your grocery store purchases, also 3% back on dining purchases, 3% back on entertainment purchases, 3% back at most streaming services, 1% everywhere else. There is going to be a new cardholder bonus that you can earn with this card. It has no foreign transaction fees, so if you use it outside of the United States, you're not going to get charged anything extra. So a nice card overall, especially if you want to hold 1 or just maybe 2 or 3 cards overall. It's going to cover a lot of areas and give you a nice reward. Number 4 is the City Custom Cash Card. No annual fee. You one purchasing category where you will get 5% cash back each billing cycle, and one of those categories is grocery stores. Now there is a $500 cap per billing cycle on that 5% category. So if you're spending over $500 per billing cycle on groceries at the $500 mark, that would get capped in terms of the reward, and then any purchases beyond that would only get you 1%, and then any other purchases with this card at all would only get you 1%. So this is really kind of a card where if you want to enhance your reward on groceries, you are going very narrow to get that 5%, and then everything else is only giving you 1%. So you got to think about that, and also with that cutoff, if you're spending over $500, obviously that overall reward gets a little bit worse. You do have a new card holder bonus that you can earn on this card, which is going to make it more attractive as well, especially with the no annual fee. Before I do number 3, I should make a note of something that I should have noted earlier, and that is the fact that with some of these cards, when they talk about grocery stores, they're talking about standalone sort of dedicated grocery stores, which means Walmart often not included, Target usually not included, Costco usually not included. So anything that is sort of a superstore, warehouse club, and might have groceries but also other things is usually not going to be included unless they specifically say so, which is why when I talked about that Shoppers Cash Rewards card, I mentioned Walmart specifically, because for a lot of these Walmart, you're not going to get that enhanced reward even if you buy groceries there. So that said, number 3, the Blue Cash Everyday card from American Express. No annual fee. You're going to get 3% cash back on your U.S. grocery store purchases on up to $6,000 per year. If you go beyond $6,000, any purchases beyond that would go down to 1%. 3% on gas purchases from U.S. gas stations. Again, a $6,000 cap on that 3%, 3% on online U.S. retail purchases Again, with the $6,000 cap, beyond that, you would go to 1%. 1% on everything else. You're going to have a nice bonus on this card, especially for a no annual fee card. Like the Capital One Saver One card, a little bit of a sort of Swiss Army knife card where you're going to get the 3% on groceries and then 3% on some other everyday categories. So if you don't want to hold as many cards, this is one that could be very attractive to you. Number 2 is the AAA Daily Advantage Visa. No annual fee, all kinds of rewards here, including 5% back on your grocery store purchases. You also have 3% back on wholesale club purchases. So if you're a Costco shopper, that is something where you get 3% there. 3% back on gas and electric vehicle charging, 3% back on streaming, 3% back pharmacy purchases, 3% back at AAA if you make any purchases there, 1% back everywhere else. There's a nominal bonus that you can earn as a new card holder, at least as I make this video. The card has no foreign transaction fees. I keep waiting for this card to get nerfed, as they say, because it offers so much on a no annual fee card that I'm surprised that it has lasted as long as it has with these rewards. And the number 1 is the Blue Cash Preferred card from American Express. We had the Blue Cash every day before. The Blue Cash Preferred card is different, no annual fee the first year, then a $95 annual fee kicks in. So you want to make sure you take that into consideration. If you are a person that spends a lot on your credit cards, in particular on groceries, that could be okay, that $95 annual fee. If you spend less, well then that $95 annual fee obviously is going to eat into your rewards. You've got 6% coming back to you on your US supermarket purchases with this card on up to $6,000 per year. You're also getting 6% back on streaming services when you use this card to pay for them. You're getting 3% back on transit purchases as well as gas purchases. That 3% on transit includes things like rideshare taxis, buses, parking, a lot of other things of that nature. And then you're getting 1% back on everything else. You're going to have a pretty good bonus opportunity as a new card holder with this card. It's kind of tough to choose between this and that AAA card in terms of what should have been or should be the number 1 card. But like I said at the beginning of the video, all of these cards you could make a case for depending on how much you spend, where you like to do your grocery shopping, how many cards you want to hold, etc., etc. So Blue Cash Preferred from American Express, the number 1, but make sure you take a look at all of these. Now, some people watching this video are going to say, hey, what about the fill in the blank credit card? That one's good for groceries too. So I'm going to tell you 8 other credit cards that you could take a look at that I did consider, and maybe they would be right for you if for some crazy reason you don't like any of those top 10 cards. So those other 8 cards that we did take a look at are the AAA Travel Advantage Visa. There's the Instacart credit card. So if you do a lot of deliveries of groceries, you might like that. Sam's Club MasterCard. There's the Citi Strata Premier, the Amex Everyday Preferred, the US Bank Altitude Reserve, the Venmo Visa, and the TD Cash credit card. So add those, and that's actually 18 credit cards to consider, but I'll bet there's some credit card junkie out there that knows of something that I forgot. If that's you, let me know in the comments section below, or if you have any other questions, put those down there too. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. If you're not going to go to the website or leave a comment below, the next video you're going to want to roll on to is this one.